Welcome to Launch Code, a premier business podcast, starring Evan Hafer, Matt Best, and Jared Taylor.
Hey, welcome to Launch Code. Joined with me, co-host today, Baker Levitt.
Bald baby.
The big bald baby.
Albino rhino.
I haven't heard that one yet.
It's a good one.
But we'll stay with that. And today, we've got a special guest on the phone coming at us from Salt Lake City, Utah, the founder and owner of Courses of Action, Mr. Dr. Prince Johnny Primo.
How you guys doing?
Was that a good, were those all your titles, right? Master, Chief?
Yeah, Prince Albert Johnny Primo.
Lieutenant Sergeant Johnny.
Lieutenant Sergeant.
Lieutenant
Commander.
Staff Sausage.
Yeah, staff sausage. Well, Johnny, it's nice to have you on the show. So you and I, we have a history that goes back about 7 years, maybe?
Yep.
Yeah. I was actually introduced to you by some of your old teammates. I happened to do a stint with ODA 3112 for some training. And that year when I was going to SHOT Show, they all texted me and said, you have to link up with our boy, Mr. Johnny Primo. When I linked up with you, you had just started with OSS suppressors, correct?
Yeah. Yep. I was on terminal leave getting out, and whenever I was in, I set up the SOCOM family of muzzle brakes, flash hider suppressors program, so it was an easy transition to go work for a suppressor company.
Nice. So coming out of the Army, yeah. So what were you doing in the Army as you were getting out? Like you just said, you were head of which program?
So I was, obviously I was a Green Beret, 3rd Special Forces Group. During my staff time, you have a stint of staff time that you're supposed to take there. And I was in the Force Mod Chopper for target engagement. So basically my problem was to ID issues with optics, munitions, guns, demolitions, things like that. And one key and apparent thing that right off the bat was that our suppressors sucked. They were shot out, nothing was working, and so I was forward deployed. And at forward deploy, of course, everybody that fell under the SOCOM and JSOC umbrella, and then give after action reports on the equipment that sucks, so we could get fielded equipment right away. The big program that I led was the suppressor program, or family of muzzle brake flash hider suppressors. So essentially getting everybody in SOCOM and JSOC new suppressors, and the program from start to finish was a 6-month process, which is unheard of, but it was pretty unique. So getting out, it was an easy transition to a suppressor company.
Awesome.
So let me ask a question, because you guys all did that high speed stuff, and I find it very interesting, and we're kind of glossing over some stuff that I find interesting, and I'm sure there's a lot of listeners that will also find interesting. So Johnny, where did you go to high school? At what state?
In Arizona.
Okay. And so when did you enlist in the Army?
In 98.
Which was, how old were you?
17.
Oh, so you went right out of high school.
Yep.
Young buck. Okay, and then so you went to basic training?
Well, I graduated high school a year early as well.
So we got a brain on this one.
Yeah.
So you graduated high school, enlisted in the Army. You went off to basic training, right?
Yep.
And then
basic and AIT. I was a 12 Bravo as a combat engineer and went to jump school.
What's a combat engineer?
Basically like a grunt that blows shit up as well.
Oh, that's kind of cool, man. Yeah. So then like when did you, after you were a 12 Bravo, where'd you go from there?
I ended up in the 82nd Airborne Division for about 9 months, and I did junior ROTC in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So I came into the Army as an E4. And this is back when we were in jungle boots and woodlands, and you had to have your stuff pressed and spit shine boots and all this crap.
Ready for war.
These crazy haircuts that were impractical. High in loonies, if you will. And we did a deployment to Sinai on a peace mission, a NATO peace mission. I've been in the Army in the 82nd for about 7 months at this point. And when you go on a NATO mission, you literally wear a peach beret, and the flash is a white circle flash with a dove that has an olive branch in it, in its beak. And as a 12 Bravo, part of our mission is counter or demining. So I'm over there literally mine detector, find a mine, 2-finger sweep, fucking probing, 2-finger sweep, a lasso of engineer tape and pull that bitch out. So as you can imagine, the job wasn't that awesome and glorious.
I can imagine it being kind of stressful.
Slightly. Pucker factor was high.
Yeah. Mining? Ooh.
So you didn't like doing that?
No, so I came back and, for Bragg at this time, you had Delta, you had 7th Group, you had 3rd Group, you had, what's that? Was it 24th that was at Bragg, Pope, JT?
Yeah, 24th STS, the 21st STS, the 14th day sauce.
So and then you have the entire Q course. So there's like, in my opinion, Fort Bragg, North Carolina is the hub of special operations.
Absolutely.
And so I was always told I was a great field soldier and city garrison soldier. So coming back, we had 2 weeks that we had to clean our guns that we never used, obviously. It was a peacekeeping mission, turn them in, and then we're taking block leave. So in that 2-week time frame, I took the SFAS PT test, which is really easy. It's like your standard Army PT test, but you're in BDUs. And had all my waivers signed and everything like that. So instead of taking leave, I was packing for selection. And by the time everyone got back from their 2-week leave, I was already in selection 3 days prior to everyone else signing in. And, my company first sergeant, company commander, platoon sergeant, all them had to sign off on it, so everyone knew. But my platoon really didn't know what was going on, to the fact that my squad leader didn't even know what was going on because I hated him. And he tried telling my platoon sergeant that I was AWOL. And my platoon sergeant's like, hey, dude, you're dumb. You suck at being a leader so bad. He's in selection right now to be better than you. And so
take that, asshole.
Yeah.
So you go through the Q course, and what was your MOS?
I started off as an 18 Bravo, so a Special Forces Weapons Sergeant. And that's kind of weird too. I said I graduated high school a year early. And JT understands GT scores and all that. So they say your ASVAB scores matter. It doesn't. In any branch of the military, it's your GT score that's going to depict what career field you go into. My GT score was a 126, and the average in the Army is like 80, I think. To be special operations, you have to have over a 110. And so I was like, freaking A, I'm going to be an 18 Delta, which is Special Forces Medic, and that's essentially an additional 1.5 to 2 years in the Q course, right? Somehow I got 18 Bravo, and I was like, oh man, this is awesome. Like, I have the shortest course, only it's going to be 6 months of my MOS versus 1.5 to 2 years like a medic. And then you have to take this thing called a what was that? What JT, what's that language where it's this test? It's not the DLPT, but it's something like that. And basically it's this made up language, and you have to figure out the language, and that's how they depict what language you're going to get. So I failed it. 70's passing and out of 58. So I was like, a la French or Spanish. And what I ended up getting was Pashto because of my GT score. And at this time, there weren't really any, there was no American literature on Pashto. They were definitely forcing into the future where they projected us going to. And we literally, for 7 hours a day, 6 days a week for 6 months, had a host nation instructor from Afghanistan. And I'd be like, how do you say stop or I'll shoot? And it's like, well, that I got kind of the Warlam. But I had to write it down phonetically in a notebook. And that's how we learned. And that was the hardest part of the Q course for me.
So language was the hard.
We could bypass all the Q course. The hardest part for me was language school.
Dude,
because
I asked that question a lot, and I've asked it to all these guys, and most people, their default answer is, "Oh no, nothing was hard," But I appreciate you actually sharing, saying something was difficult. So in the moment, the language component was the most difficult, challenging part for you.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen me train before, physically, Baker, and Baker knows that I've trained with some of the top athletes out there, from Matt Frazier, Rich Froning, and Tommy Hackenbrook, and all them, and now I train at Jim Jones, which is probably one of the most notorious gyms out there. I have zero issues with physical stuff. It's once you figure out that, in Happy Gilmore, go to your happy place. I go to my happy place and see my midget riding a broomstick horse and my grandma playing penny slots, and I totally forget about what I'm doing physically. But whenever you have ADHD and you're trying to learn a pronoun in Pashto, that's some hard shit.
Yeah, especially when there's 116 letters with accent and verbalization.
Yeah,
pretty
and
fucking difficult.
What am I doing now? And you have the attention span of a gnat.
Yeah, same. I get it. All right, so you get through the Q course. You're a Green Beret, and You did the things you mentioned earlier, and now we're back.
We're back to transitioning out. You're working for a suppressor company, and where does it go from there?
I was working for OSS, and it didn't work out too well there. Very similar to what and I won't name companies, to what Baker's experienced. You kind of put a company on a map, and then people maybe get jealous or penis envy, if you will, and there's some conflict of interest and personality conflicts there. So left there, and I was teaching precision long range shooting and rifles only in Texas, in Corpus Christi, near Corpus Christi. So you want to talk about Texas being hot? Go to Kingsville, Texas, near King Ranch.
Oh, wow.
About 90 miles north of the border, and you'll experience hot, right? I mean, I'm talking about, it's so hot and miserable during the day that I had to wear like a long sleeve shirt, a boonie hat, a schmog wrapped around my neck while I was teaching and everything. Essentially so my skin didn't fry, right?
Yeah.
And, I was down there for about 3 months, and I was like, man, I'm living in a fifth wheel trailer, like living the life, doing what I love, teaching people how to be better and shoot. And we had PJs coming through, we had CAT coming through, we had all these units coming through that were teaching how to shoot precision long range. It was awesome. But living conditions were not what I was used to. It's like, I might as well be back in Afghanistan or Africa again, right? So left there, worked for Silence Co. for about 1.5 years. Set up their business development section, the military LE sales and all that stuff. Wore a bunch of hats. And just, man, the corporate world was not for me, man. You saw me there, JT. Like,
yeah.
I consider myself to be a good leader in the military. And what's awesome about being a special operations realm is I don't have to micromanage. I can give you a left limit, right limit, an end state, and I know it's going to be done.
Yeah, it's like the black box theory. Like A plus B equals C. The desired output is C. A is the tools you have to work with, and we're going to put a black box around B. Don't worry about what goes on in the black box.
Just get it done.
As long as I'm using A to get C, don't ask me how I do it, because half the time I don't know how I do shit.
But it's like whenever you give somebody a task, and you know that it would take you personally 1 hour, and you tell them at 9 a.m. what you need done, and then you go check in. You decide to check in because I haven't checked with you at like 3 p.m., and it's not even halfway done. You kind of know people are just bullshitting in there for a paycheck, right?
Yeah.
And that's never I realized that there's no offense to anybody listening to this, but in the civilian world, most people hate their fucking jobs. Most people are just there for a paycheck, and it's very hard to find somebody that's actually loyal to the company that they're slaving away for. And
yeah, dude, give me one person that's motivated over 20 people that are just kind of there, and I'll accomplish a hell of a lot more with that one dude.
Absolutely.
100%. And then you get the Debbie Downers in the work environment. And dude, one of my things that I say is there's no such thing as a good amount of cancer.
Say that again?
There's no such thing as a good amount of cancer, because a little bit of cancer will kill you. And a little bit of cancer in a work environment spreads like wildfire.
Yeah, because cancer isn't contagious, but
everyone's Debbie Downer.
Yeah.
That's nobody wants to be there in the first place.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was listening to. Something Gary Vee said one time. Like, he said 2 things that kind of resonated with me. He said 1 is always greater than 0, and he also said that like the 2 greatest employees that he's ever had, he had to fire because they would go around and talk to other people as opposed to immediately addressing an issue with the source. And like those people, like, it's just a morale killer, man. Like I was talking to Logan the other night. It's like, you got a Viking ship and you got 20 dudes rowing, and then all of a sudden, like, one guy in the back catches, a poopy diaper, and then all of a sudden you got 19 guys rowing, and then give that guy a few minutes and you'll have 17 guys rowing, because it spreads. It's terrible.
Yep.
So yeah, where'd you go from there?
Yeah. I took a huge leap of faith. I knew that I could teach Afghani farmers how to kill bad guys with me. One of the core missions, no matter what, everyone hates to say it, because we were kicking doors for so long in Special Forces. And for clarification, there is one Special Forces, right? Everyone likes to throw an umbrella on it, but Green Berets are Special Forces, and then you have everyone else, and we all fall under Special Operations. So Special Forces, we're known for. One of our core missions that we got, straight away from until like 2012 and 13 was foreign internal defense, or by, with, through indigenous forces. So if I can teach an Afghani farmer how to kill bad guys with an AK-47, how to put down a gardening tool and shoot with an AK right next to my team and I, then I was like, maybe I can teach upstanding civilians of the U.S. how to defend themselves.
Absolutely.
And so I took a huge leap of faith, and I, 100%, 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100 I was like trying to come up with a company name, and it was like Primo Elements and all this stuff. And I was like, that's pretty pompous and arrogant of me to name a company after myself. And then one day I had a dream, and I woke up and I was like, courses of action. And courses of action being whenever you're planning, you want multiple plans. So just like if you're planning for a business, right? Here's my plan. If this situation happens, we're deviating to this plan. If this happens, we're deviating to this plan. And if off that plan this happens, and you have a ton of sub plans, understanding no plan's ever going to go perfect, but if you have a basis of a plan to go into something, then you're going to be better than going in blind. And that's courses of action, right? So stood up the company, had the website expedited, the business license expedited 7 days, like trademarked everything, blah, 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 blah. And this is all around the time that you guys were moving to Salt Lake, moving from the smaller building to the larger building in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 2 years ago, 2 years and 3 months ago. Since then, it took a huge leap of faith. It's scary knowing that whenever food's going on your table and you are supporting other people, that your decisions are going to be to affect how much food is going on that table, and is this going to be successful? But I went into it with the mindset that social media has ruined tactical training, and that you got a lot of dudes out there that are trying to teach shit that they've never applied, right? Well, it'd be like me trying to teach people how to drop bombs. Have I done it? Yes. Am I an SME at it? No, I'd probably have somebody like you teach them, not me. And it worked, and it's been working since. And we have a huge curriculum now. I have a team of instructors, almost 10 instructors from all facets of the military: Air Force, Army, Marines, Navy, all of them special operations, all of them minimum 8 deployments. So
that's amazing.
It's going good.
And yeah, you're hitting the nail on the head, because you know what was really weird to me, and you know this exactly because you were around in this time frame, was the tactical industry from about 2011 to 2014. There was this really odd shift where social media had deemed it completely unnecessary to have a subject matter expert with experience. And it was crazy to me. Like, how, because I came from a world, where I was a conventional TAC P sitting on Bragg. I looked at guys with long tabs and Ranger tabs like, oh man, I don't even want to go talk to that guy. That guy's the pro. I looked at the Delta guys like, you wouldn't even fucking look in their general direction, let alone. But now, like, the internet has created this giant gray area where you have a commo troop that'll argue with you on pistol tactics on the internet, and you're like, wait, what the fuck do you even know about this? And if you were still wearing a uniform, and I was still wearing a uniform, you wouldn't even dare walk over to me on a fucking range and start telling me what to do.
Yep, I agree.
It just shielded. It shielded this, like, it pulled the blinders over actual experience. And it's like, dude, I saw it on the internet in the early years.
Yep, sorry. We have some technical difficulties in the background.
But I think you can take it a step further, where you have guys that actually have experience in certain areas. Like, I'm not going to name names, but like a specific former Force Recon guy that's a shooting instructor and was like arguing with Jeff Kirkham about AK-47s.
Yeah, but that's complete ignorance, though.
Yeah, it's like listen,
it's like you bought into your own mantra on the internet.
Yeah, your reality distortion field that you've created. Like, you're arguing with one, Force Recon guys don't carry AKs, and 2, you're arguing with a guy that carried one for 8 years.
Because I've got a good amount of time on the ground controlling aircraft, but I'm never gonna step up to a 24th STS JTAC and pretend I know everything that he does. I don't. I fucking don't. I've never done that mission set. I've never had a stack of 12 aircraft.
That gives me anxiety thinking about
12 layers of aircraft. Like, have fun with that, right?
That guy is better at the job than me. Sorry. Yeah. And I'm never going to try to pretend that I can argue with him either. I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna respect his opinion, because I know where my place is, and that's where I think the internet really affected the tactical community, because it took everybody out of where their place actually was.
All right. Yeah.
And then you like it shifts the burden of proof, because you have like Joe Civilian.
Yep. We got you, buddy.
Yeah, you have like Joe Civilian who doesn't know anything, and like
he doesn't know who to listen to,
Right.
and what it defaults to
is
pictures.
the
flashiest person with a fucking shit ton of gear and isn't even American,
right?
Didn't even serve in a military, really,
Right?
And now all of a sudden, this circus shot is the word of the gospel.
Right.
Well, that's the thing is like people start looking at it like it's cool, and I tell people majority of the people that are out there doing what I do, and this is going to sound harsh, but really they're just teaching people how to die faster.
Yeah,
it's like
wholeheartedly
look
agree.
at me now. They come to my course and they're like, "Well, where's your ops core helmet and your JPC and your crime multicams?" It's like, guess what? I used to get paid a lot of money to wear that shit. I'm a civilian now. I train the way that I dress. That's why my training pictures will see me like jeans and a t-shirt with a snapback. Because guess what? That's what I wear now. That's reality. I'm not trying to fake the funk. So, and the fact that people think, you get all these people who are, I hate the word influencer, but that's what they say they are.
Yeah.
Because maybe like 3 years ago they bought some followers on Instagram, and which majority of them did. Let's be real. And now they're running around with all this Gucci gear, and people think that they have to have all this fancy shit that some no-name civilian who is maybe a preacher.
Oh God, I was gonna say it. I was waiting for it because dude, and you know what irks me about that is coming from our world, like you had to earn that gear. Like you got given a fucking K-pot and a H harness and a fucking LCE and your Alice pack, and it was like it wasn't until you were upping your game and getting higher up there in the echelons of support in the TACP world did you get to fucking have a drop holster. Did you get to have a plate carrier rather than your armor and stuff like that? So it's like when I see this tool bag with all his fucking gear that he's never used in real life, his helmet and his earbuds that he wouldn't even know how to plug into a fucking 152 or 148. It's like, motherfucker, yeah, it's great that you just got the cash or the fucking silver spoon in your mouth to smooth talk your way into a bunch of cool guy gear, but you have no idea what it means to fucking don that shit.
Yeah, no, not at all. And then, well, the problem is that you look at a majority of people that are going to these courses then, and then you have these fuckheads trying to belittle other people that, like, oh, your gun sucks because it's only this. Well, guess what? I'm going to run a $500 carbine the same way that I run a $3,000 carbine. It all comes down to training. And you have these dudes that are pompous little pricks trying to belittle other civilians that are blue-collar workers that do have to save up money to even attend a training course, right?
Guess who didn't get
$3,000?
$3,000?
Because you don't have this.
Guess who didn't get $3,000 carbines to deploy with? We got fucking Beretta M9s and Colt and Colt fucking M4s. Like, give me a break.
Yeah. But people don't understand that, man. It's like, it's people are like, oh yeah, well I'm like, yeah, you're dressed like something. I think you hit the nail on the head. They're dressed like something they don't even understand. They can't even grasp the capacity of what they're dressed as. And
yeah, I guarantee he doesn't even know why he has two wires hanging out his headset.
But
they wouldn't understand what talking to hire and talking to aircraft is.
But what's interesting, fascinating to me is like you see these people that never served, and they're of fighting age. I mean, they're in their early 20s, mid 20s.
No, it's always,
and it's like, dude, like, listen, man, like, I'm not a subject matter expert at all, but I tell you this, like, you want to go kick ISIS ass, man, like, you can hit Google and find you a recruiting depot and head down there and sign up and get paid to do it. And get paid to do it.
Army. You can join the fucking French Foreign Legion now and go do some shit tomorrow.
Even then, right now, the Special Operations Recruiting Battalion is at the all-time lowest they've ever been, with people raising their hand and saying, I want to try out for Army Special Forces. So guess what? Even if you're already in and you want to do some cool stuff, no one's going to tell you no. In fact, you'll get fast-tracked to selection.
Well, the thing
and
is,
paid.
Like, everyone wants to say they do it, but no one wants to do it, right? I mean, think about, and this is, obviously we're going over what time you guys wanted. I apologize, but
we're having fun.
Yeah, we're having a blast.
Think about this. Think about all the veterans that are claiming, and I'm going to ruffle a lot of feathers with this, all right? Think about all the veterans claiming PTSD, okay? And then think about the capacity that they were in. And think about that special operations makes up about 1% of the military, and we're doing about 99% of the shit. And look at the PTSD claims from us.
I know.
Right? So what happens is, and fucking dudes can hate me all they want because this is the God's honest truth. And you understand, I appreciate all support, dudes. I know that the guy handling mail in the States had to put it in a box, and the guy in Afghanistan or Africa or Pakistan had to put it in an orange bag, and that made my morale higher. And the guy shipping food over and the cooks and I appreciate everyone, right? But what happens is our support guys are a little bit different than conventional military, I'll say. You get a bunch of people and they want to, you know, they may be in support role capacity or something like that, and they're not proud of what they're doing, even though what they're doing has a huge part. So then they have these inflated stories and emails and phone calls that they tell their parents back home, right?
Yep.
Oh, this happened and I killed these guys and this, and nothing ever happened to them. But now what happens? Now they have to come home and live up to that story. So they create this whole fucking facade and, oh, I have PTSD and all this shit off of a story that never really fucking happened. Why? Because they want to be fucking lazy. And majority of veterans nowadays have this sense of entitlement, like they're owed something, and they don't want to work and they want shit for free.
Dude, I had it recently. I had someone tell me, you know, when I told them I was a TACP, they said, oh, yeah, my cousin's a Air Force Special Forces person. And I was like, yeah, I doubt it. I mean, I was kind of being a dick because I can generally get away with that because there's only about 1,200 of us if you combine all the. So I can automatically go, yeah, right, I'm sure. And he goes, yeah. He just got out. Here was his last service photo. And he shows me the guy in his dress uniform. And he tells me how he won't talk about anything that happened in Iraq. And I look at him and I go, well, first off, he wasn't any of the career fields. He's actually a jet mechanic. And I go, and he's never been to Iraq. Well, how can you tell? I'm looking at his fucking ribbons right now. He doesn't have an Iraqi campaign ribbon. Hell, he doesn't even have a GWAT expeditionary ribbon.
Well, dude, so you know as well as I do, and Baker's hung around enough of us now that he knows. The minute somebody says I can't talk about what I did,
it's because they don't
fucking lying.
Yeah, you don't have a story. That's why.
Yeah.
Now, if they say I was working on another project, that's different. But.
Yeah, like, hey, I can only talk about a certain extent of what I was doing. Here's what I was doing. Other stuff I can't. Cool, gotcha. But the dudes are like, I think whatever one of the original videos that you and Matt did where it's like, with black so dark, we can't even talk about them or whatever. Like, those motherfuckers, those dudes, come on now. They're posing. They're liars.
But there's no such thing as a secret Green Beret or a secret SEAL.
No, dude.
Well, first off, I was looking back, and I was like going through photos that I had on my computer, and I found my own MySpace ones.
Oh yeah,
like in
baby.
The early start of Global War on Terror, you know, early 2000s, and I thought I was so special that I had my long hair and my beard, and then I'd like do the photo crop thing of black over my eyes because I was so awesome.
On your own MySpace page.
Yeah, and then I'm like, well, hey, retard, that's you deploy, but then these civilian pictures of you, your eyes are right there. So what, you know what I mean? Like, stupid shit, man. But no one's that special. No one, and the ones that are don't even have social media.
No, so. I mean, I tell everybody, every civilian out there, the fastest way that you can tell somebody is lying is two terms. They say, A, I'm a Navy SEAL, using the word Navy SEAL.
Yep.
9.9 times out of 10, a SEAL will say, I was on the teams.
I'm a team guy.
I was a West Coast. I was a team guy.
Yeah.
I was a West Coast guy. I was an East Coast guy. We know what that means. Or I was Spec Ops. Spec Ops is not a term anybody fucking uses ever other than Chuck Norris in Delta Force the movie.
I'd say special operations is like the only thing that we don't shorten up. And if we do, we say SOF.
I tell you what I like.
You know?
I like Marines.
I like it whenever
I like
guys
Marine
are like,
special forces.
Yeah, I was Army Special Operations. I was on ODA, and I was like, you're on ODA? What's ODA? Like, you know, ODA. And I'm like, ODA? No. Oh, you mean ODA? You're fucking lying. It means ODA, Operational Detachment.
Let me ask you this.
Like,
do you guys think that, like, the stolen valor, I guess that's what we'll call it, do you think that, I think that's less prevalent now than it was, just because there's no secrets, like with social media and all that stuff, like, and there's people that are out hunting these guys constantly
you got
like
people out hunting it now, right? And it's things are slowing down now, right? It's going back to like, hey, we're in countries that we're really not in, and we're wearing Levi's and flannels type shit. So you have a bunch of guys who are like, I'm fucking bored. Let's out these posers.
We're going to call this episode How to Spot a Fake, since we veered way off what it was like starting a tactical training company. But Johnny, you've gotten great reviews on your courses. Tons of people talk so highly about what you guys got going on over there. If people are interested in signing up for one of your courses or getting involved, how can they find you?
You can on Instagram. That's the big social media platform we push on. Obviously, Facebook can get quite expensive. So on Instagram, it's at courses_of_action. My email is primo@courses-of-action.com, and the website is www.courses-of-action.com.
Awesome. Well, we need to get you out to San Antonio to have you on the set, do a follow-up episode, go deeper into.
Yeah, we could actually talk about business.
Yeah. What it was like, what kind of licenses and things that you needed.
Yeah.
And what do the courses entail?
All that stuff. So thank you for coming on the show today. Can't wait for episode 2. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Primo, I'm Jared Taylor, and Baker Levitt. This is Launch Code.
Have a good one, you guys.
Thanks, man.
Yep.